Hi, I'm Katie, and this is Ornamentations 79. Happy Labor Day, everyone. If you're in the US, I hope you had a wonderful holiday weekend with family, friends, stitching, and doing what you love. If you're not, I hope you had a wonderful weekend in any event. But today's Flosstube is going to be quite a varied episode because I have a finish. I have a wider array of whips than usual. We're going to look at some different types of things that I have going on. And then I also have the giveaway winners from the last episode, a new giveaway to share with you all, my wonderful viewers, and then a very special guest to close out the episode. I'm going to have my mom on to share with you her haul and her experiences from summer school as well as her current stitching. But first, quick update on the Britomart sampler. Oh yeah, look, I don't have an FFO that's been all beautifully hem-stitched to show you. I haven't actually done a thing. It felt so good after so much pressure on this to just have it sitting there all beautiful and finished. I didn't really want to touch it, and you shouldn't really rush finishing and hem-stitching. So I'm hoping to do that for next time. And there's no ETA on the release yet. I haven't brought a chart of this size to print before. I want to do it right, and we'll see how long it takes me. I'll let you know when I know. But we're going to start in earnest today with my whips, and the first is a summer stitch that is going to be next year's summer Flosstube kit. We've been looking at this for a while. I have some actual progress to show this time. And that is Plum Street Samplers Flag Thief, which is in my brand new summer school bag with a fabulous fob I was given there, and then my wonderful bling that I got from the Fox and Rabbit sampler box, which we looked at in the last episode if you didn't see it. So in here we have Plum Street Samplers Flag Thief. Take a good look at the model photo because I have a question about this. And then we're going to look at my progress, which is actually pretty good, better than last time. I had almost nothing to show last time. I have almost filled in that house. Now, of course, there is still a lot of detailing, some color choices. I have to choose all of my colors for the roof, but whoo, that's the house. And is this looking amazing or what? Now, my question is the grass. I wanted to see how this looked on camera, especially from a distance, because on the model, I love all the detailing that's been added to the grass. It's so clever and so subtle. The swags are definitely staying, but then there was the stripes. It just kind of adds an air of fun to the whole thing. It almost makes me think of a circus tent, but in a good way, not in a bad way. And so going in, I was like, yes, I definitely want to do that. I started it, and at first I was thinking, no, those are too harsh, they're too stripy. I chose greens that are too far from each other. This isn't working very well with my particular choices. But on the other hand, you've got this big block of red, and it's got a lot of detail in it, but the more I look at it, especially a little further away, I think you really do want that detail. So at the moment, I'm leaning towards the stripes. And if you're sitting here going, Katie, you're crazy, don't worry. There's plenty of any of the greens in this to just stitch the whole thing in a solid block of grass. I think that would look great too. I like the extra detail that's put in here. So, oh, I said that's a question, but I think I'm coming to an answer as I look at this on camera that can actually be quite instructive to just get a little visual distance and perspective from our project. So this is Plum Street Flag Thief. This is an original silk conversion that will be exclusive to next year's summer Flosstube kit. One thing I really love about this project is the size. So it's big enough to be able to put lots of detail in the house. So you have all the different colors of the slate, you have the flower boxes, the swag striped on the house, all the detailing in the grass. And it's big enough to be satisfying, but it's not so big that it's huge or overwhelming. So I have found this to be, yeah, I think satisfying and engaging would be the best way to describe this. And this isn't the full palette of colors, but these are the active ones I'm working with right now. I've got a beautiful mix of Goblins and 103. So I next I'm going to push through to the filler details on the house. I'm going to try and pick all those colors for the roof, put the other tree in up here, and then just kind of let this marinate a little bit. Or I don't know, maybe I'll review the footage and be like, you know what, I know. However, please feel free to weigh in on my maybe dilemma on the grass, to stripe or not to stripe. That is the question. That's Plum Street Flag Thief. And I know this is past the time when a lot of people are doing summer stitching, especially patriotic stitching, but I'm feeling it. The weather has been absolutely beautiful here. Yesterday was just the most temperate day. I was stitching in the afternoon, all the windows were open, the breeze was blowing, and it was just, oh, it was perfect. It was so soothing. So yeah, Flag Thief. I'm really feeling it last time. I'm really feeling it and expect to have more progress on it for next time. And then my other whip that I have been, my other cross stitch whip that I've been working on, we'll be looking at another kind of whip in just a hot minute, is my Sampler September focus piece. It's now September, yay. Where has 2024 gone? I can't even believe it's already, we're past summer school, it's September, what is happening here? And I have this in last year's summer school bag. I mean, okay, summer school is amazing, but as an experience, I'd just like to say you also get some really good swag like Stitch Folk project bags. So in last year's summer school bag, can you tell I've got summer school on the brain? It might be over, but I'm still thinking about it. I have my Sampler September focus piece, which we've seen before, and that's Fox and Rabbit, Elizabeth Campbell, 1838, which I am going to tweak a little bit rather than adapt to make a family heritage piece. I definitely have some color tweaks I want to make here, and we'll be following that as I go along. So far, I have been focusing on the border and making quite good progress, although I haven't actually devoted that much time to this piece. This is being stitched on Legacy Linen 48 count March Pane. That took me a minute. I wanted to say Sicilian Marzipan, but that's 5363. And I'm getting pretty close to halfway on the border. So I've taken my center line halfway and then I'm filling in. Right now this has 3 colors in it. Did I say this is swath surfing on 48 count? Oh my, we're not even 8 minutes in and I don't know what I'm saying. This is not a good sign. So even though the border is fairly heavy on this one relative to the whole, I'm actually finding it interesting and varied stitching because I've got 3 colors going, and basically what I do is I lay in a thread of the lightest color to establish that center line, know where I'm going, and then I alternate the darker green and red threads and fill in. And so that's actually been quite, it's engaging, I think is the best word to describe it. Also, the border has been regularized. Thank you, Karen. So you're not marking up the marking up the chart to make sure you don't miss an error. And just, for me personally, that makes for very pleasant stitching. So that's Elizabeth Campbell by Fox and Rabbit. I'll post what I have of the conversion in the description. It's not extensive because, as I said, I have been focusing on the border so far. And then I've also been using the fabulous little fold-up case that Diane, the woodpecker's daughter, gave me at summer school. This is awesome. Diane, I don't know if you're selling these or if you're watching, but this is great for a small project. It's so practical because you just throw some spools in, and then I've got my scissors. These are the new Golden Forge scissors I showed you last time that I bought at summer school with the engraved blades. My mom has them too. And so I just throw this in with my project bag, and I am totally portable on Elizabeth Campbell and ready to go. Love it. This is gonna look so good. when it's done. So on the chart, the strawberries are filled with an off-white. I actually want to do a really vivid pink just to pop it out, because strong pink and strong red can be a really great contrast and one that I really love. So I'm hoping to have more progress on Elizabeth Campbell for next time. It is Sampler September, and that is going to be my focus piece for September. And then I also have an FFO to show you. So I stitched up, so this is actually my September 12 by 12 ornament. And this is the actual model for the coming crystal dove kits. Oh, is that beautiful or what? I think the light is just right in here today, and you can really get a sense of the incredible sparkle on this piece. So this is using all of the materials that will be in your kit. This is the same felt, this is the same template, these are the same crystals, sequins, beads, and this is the actual, for real, a official model used with all of the kit materials and that I wrote the kit instructions from. Oh my gosh, does that look great or what? So the crystal dove is going to be one of 2 holiday kits. The other will be the Prairie Schooler Santa, also embellished and sparkly. Are you seeing a theme here? I'm seeing a theme here. Those will be available in early November. The crystal dove will come with full instructions and everything needed to work the piece except tacky glue and a couple of pins. I figure you can provide that. So this is actually my second crystal dove this year. The first was my prototype. As you can see, they're pretty similar. The felt on this one is a little lighter. This is the actual felt that I could get in quantity for the kits. But the most significant difference here is that I angled the wing a little differently. To me, it looks better when it's kind of just back, and yeah, subtle adjustments, but this is the level of detail at which I think about these things. So this is our actual model for the crystal dove. I know a lot of you are really interested in these. Don't worry, they're coming. I haven't forgotten about it, and I have actually been working quite diligently, not just on the model, but I've started the kitting for this because oh gosh, there are about 1 million different types of sequins, crystals, and beads in this. That was a smart choice on my part, but it looks amazing and I'm so thrilled with it. So I hope you're excited. It's a crystal dove, and kits for this will be coming in November as part of the holiday releases. And just so you know, this looks intense, but it's actually really easy. You take your needle up, you thread on a bead or sequin, and then you take your needle down the end. Okay, although there will be very detailed instructions. You know how I am if you've done Theodora or taken any of my classes. And then also on kit news, I got a few questions about this lately. Thomas the Turkey is still coming. He is the fall kit release. I have to cut all of the fabric, which is a not insignificant task, but I have made up all the thread packs as well as the embellishment packs with those little sequins and beads, which are included in the kits. And oh yes, I did have a question for you on your release preferences. I know that a lot of people are already starting fall stitches. I think of this as a Thanksgiving stitch, so I was targeting kind of early to mid-October. I could push it up to late September if people really want to get started on them now. Do you have opinions? If you have opinions, speak now. Otherwise, he gets released when I cut all the fabric and iron everything and do all the prints. And that is Thomas by Not Forgotten Farm, chart not included in the kit. So go ahead and get your copy if you're dying to stitch this mischievous turkey. Now that I haven't spent weeks on end frogging and restitching colors, I actually love him, but I have to tell you, my feelings were a little mixed when I was tearing my hair out over this conversion. One other thing on kits, please do share your progress and your finishes with me. I love seeing them. Please tag me on Instagram. My handle is @kstrakenembroidery, and I actually already saw a finish on my summer school piece, Lucretia Robinson's Needlebook, and that was by @dawnpop_creates on Instagram. She finished her needlework, FFO'd it too, and then personalized it, which was fabulous to see. I love seeing your work, so please do share it with me, and also please tag me, because Instagram's a little weird, and if I'm just mentioned in the description, sometimes it doesn't actually get pushed through to me. And then I have one more whip to share with you before we get on to haul giveaways and my special guest, and this is actually my oldest whip. I'm not sure if I have shown it to you before. I can't quite remember. You've seen the piece that it's supposed to go into. Actually, hold on one second. I'm gonna clear some of this away, and then I'll have room to move these things around. My oldest whip. Anyways, this is meant to go inside a piece that is finished on the outside, and this we saw in my second ever Flosstube. This is what I call the Gloriana Box. It depicts the titular fairy queen in something that's called a Nelhan cartouche with fantasy flowers around her, and then those continue on the sides. The lid panel dates from 2014, and then once I finished the stitching on this, I put it aside. I had conceived this as a practice box to get me ready for casket stitching, but I was so scared of finishing that I didn't want to stitch the sides and actually get this to the point where I might, I don't know, have to pull out the glue and finish some things. So I just conveniently stuck the panel away and didn't bring it back out and actually finish the rest of the box until 2019. Fear of finishing is real, and there's no judgment here, because oh man, I was an absolute master of avoidance for years when it came to that. But anyways, even though the box is now fully finished on the exterior, it's got its gilded feet, it has trim, it has hardware, it has tape, it looks great. I never actually finished the interior. So I did the edges with the stamped paper, which you can get from Thistle Threads. I did paper the interior of the lid, not the bottom. And this is what the interior looks like. It's not supposed to look like that. It looks like this because I never finished the panel that I had designed for inside this piece. And that's what we're going to look at today. So, oldest whip, because the oldest elements on this also date from 2014 when I conceived this whole project. And the oldest elements on this are these beaded leaves. Yes, those are really tiny micro antique beads. They are over 50 beads to an inch. They're so small that I'm not sure the camera's really going to pick that up very well. And then I did a center beaded piece that is also antique beads, although not nearly as small. The leaves on the side are really just crazy tiny. Those are some of the smallest beads I've ever actually come across, and naturally that was where I decided to start my adventures in using antique beads. That was funny. So several years ago I put these into garlands because the lovers under a garland centered by a flower is a really common 17th century format that you see a lot, and so I thought it was perfect for the interior of the Gloriana Box, which, since the lid depicts Gloriana, the fairy queen of Spenser's Fairy Queen alone, the interior would depict her lovelorn swain, Arthur, who at this point is just a knight running around Fairyland, questing in search of Gloriana, and not the titular King Arthur of legend. So Arthur's mostly been finished since about the time that I put this panel up. I didn't even bother to lace the whole thing properly because I was like, oh, it'll be so easy. I've already done all the work. I just need to throw the figures up there. stalled out years ago, never actually did the rest of it. This is where I stalled out. So Arthur was almost entirely finished when I picked this back up. I just had to add this little feety booty type things. Okay, this is how old it is. His sword, which is silver leaf over Bristol paper, is ludicrously tarnished. It's been a while. And then I decided after I finished the Britomart panel that I was going to have some fun, which for me means playing with needle lace, and finish off this very old piece. I want to get this done. I want to put it in the box. I want the box to be fully finished. I want to wipe this off my slate, and then I can go back to focusing on casket stitching for my embroidery whips. So what I'm working on right now is Gloriana, and I know she looks a little weird at the moment because she's not done. And the thing about stump faces is until you get the hair on, they look real weird because of those unfinished edges. And also, if you look at a head, so if this is the top of my head and that's my hairline, there's a fair amount of space up here, which you have to account for if you're doing a stump work head. But it kind of makes the figure look like an egghead until you actually get their hair on. So she's being put on in order. She's slanted away from the viewer. So this arm goes under the body, her bodice goes over it, and then this arm goes over it all. That'll be the last piece. I want to add some more detailing to the bodice. Obviously she needs hair, a headdress, some fun, funky details. But let's talk about the needle lace because that's really what I was having fun with here. So yeah, I'm crazy. This is my idea of fun and relaxing. I started with the underskirt, which you largely can't see because I felt the need to put pieces over it. On its own, it was blinded by the lights. Actually, she needs a soundtrack. She is big pimpin' in F-A-E-R-I-E because the underskirt is needle lace. You can't even see that because the return is just so bodaciously blingin', but the return is gilt plate. Plate is basically just a strip of metal, and so it is super, super crazy sparkly, and it just drowned out the needle lace, which you can barely see. I did gilt tambour, which is the gold equivalent of the thread that we use on the Elizabethan Valentine and Queen Anne's pin pillow. And then to tone it down, because it was just taking everything over, I did an open work underskirt to go over it. That's in gilt silk twist. You can't really see it in this light, but the red open work here is wrapped with gold, so it has a subtle sparkle of its own. And then I added on double scallop. This is in detached buttonhole. And then over it all goes her actual dress, overskirt, bodice, sleeve, and that's in a needle lace pattern in soie oval, and that's why it has such fabulous depth, richness, and shine. I had originally thought about doing her in a dark pink, but it was too much pink. Pink background, pink flower. She needed more visual heft to her. So that's why I went for the rich red. And I've just been playing with needle lace and putting this figure together, and now I get to start with embellishments. I want to do some things that are accurate to Elizabethan portraiture, so she's going to get pearls, whether those are real or faux. Probably faux given the size issue here. I don't have real ones that are as small as the details I want to do. I have some fabulous super tiny antique gilt plated beads. And I also want to talk for just a second how this relates to Elizabethan portraiture. There's a reason I chose gold and red to depict Gloriana, who is an analog for Queen Elizabeth I of England. She was painted dozens and dozens of times throughout her lifetime, especially once she became the queen. And you see a really wide array of portraits. She does favor very elaborate dress and very elaborate jewels. But you also see a lot of portraits in which she's wearing red and gold. I wouldn't say those are her signature colors, but it's something that shows up very frequently in her portraiture. This is an older portrait, well, sorry, a portrait of an older Elizabeth, so it's actually more recent in time than some of the other ones we'll look at. It's on the cover of Queen Elizabeth's Wardrobe Unlocked by Janet Arnold, which is not a picture book, by the way. It's an actual textual account of the accounts of her wardrobe, clothing, and the exchange records. So if you're looking for cool pictures, this is not what you want. It just had a really nice large scale portrait of Elizabeth in red and gold on the front. You can see her signature pearls, and you can also just see how much detail she lards onto her costume. She's got this elaborate feathered fan, jewels, pearls, embroidery all over the place, and then she's also got a headdress in there, a ruff. I mean, you could have so much fun with this in theory, but the small scale here means that while you could add 1,000,001 details to this, they won't necessarily read to the viewer. So you have to kind of keep in mind how much detail is actually going to be visually effective at this scale. And then if you would like some cool pictures, the Elizabethan Image by Royce Strong. So this is a very early portrait of Elizabeth. I think this is actually quite soon after her coronation. So I'm kind of thinking about that for her headdress. Big ruff, red and gold, jeweled detailing on her bodice. She's got an ermine-lined cape. And then she was also painted many times with fabulous, ridiculous hairdos. So this is from the famous rainbow portrait. When I first thought of this, I wanted to do a miniature stitched version of her as the rainbow portrait Elizabeth. That was crazy. I abandoned that idea, but just as a nod to that early idea, I'd kind of like to pick up some of the details seen in that. And then the depiction of Arthur here was also influenced by Elizabethan portraiture. As you can see, he's got a sash over his shiny armor. So there was a big coronation joust for her coronation, and many of the men of the court had themselves painted in their dress armor. And they were frequently wearing sashes and or favors from the ladies of the court. So the Elizabethan Image is a great collection of some fabulous Elizabethan portraits, including ones of Elizabeth, her courtiers, and discussing styles of portraiture of the court. So that's kind of the visual background of my whip. Mini history lesson in my Flosstube. Sorry about that, guys. But this is my embroidery whip. I might just finish this off by the next time. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the variety used in the needle lace. So I have 5 different needle lace stitches used so far between the 2 figures. And you know, you get these layered effects by mixing up not just techniques, but textures and threads. So I have a vol gilt silk twist, gilt tambour, gilt metal plate, that's a 50% wrap, gilt flatworm, swagoblins. You can have so much fun with needle lace. And if you're sitting here looking at this going, wow, that's my jam. Cabinet of Curiosities Part 2 Stump Work is where I learned all of this, and it's amazing. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say about this. So the Gloriana Box, which got more and more elaborate as I fleshed out my ideas for it. At one point, this was going to have full interior beaded garden too. I convinced myself early on that I needed 1,000,001 practice pieces because I didn't feel ready to start my casket. And this is something I've seen a lot of other stitchers do. And if you want to just do small to medium pieces, then that's fine. However, spoiler alert, as somebody who has done completed two caskets and some other very large projects, no one ever feels ready. There's never going to be some magical number of practice pieces that makes you feel ready to jump in and start a casket and do justice to that concept. If you sit and wait for the perfect concept to come to you, to get the perfect level of confidence, to have all of those circumstances be right, you'll never actually start. So this isn't just about casket stitching. If there's anything big you dream of doing, and I say this with love and from experience, do not waste endless hours in practice this, practice that. The few surviving suites of 17th century embroidery tell us that a girl worked one sampler, maybe two samplers, and probably some smalls before she got on to the really big stuff. If 10-year-old girls were ready after one or two samplers, you can start now, I promise you. Practice is a good thing. Knowing what you're doing is a good thing. However, it can also be an avoidance technique. And I know because I was a master of this for several years. So, like I said, this is not said with judgment. It's said from a place of love and experience. I have met too many stitchers who are just waiting for this thing, that thing, or the other thing to start their casket or their simple harmony box or whatever their really big bucket list project is. Dorcas Haynes, some crazy sampler. Guys, don't wait. Do it now. If there's something you really, really want to do, don't wait to feel ready. You may never feel ready. I know I have never felt ready for any of the really big things I've done, and yet somehow the hardest thing is always starting. So go ahead, start, rip the band-aid off, and that's my lecture for today. Sorry about that. It's just something I feel very passionately about because I talk to a lot of stitchers who want to do things, don't feel like they have the confidence for it, and the thing is, if you wait, it probably won't ever happen. So you just have to gather your courage in both hands and jump into the deep end of the pool. And I said I was going to stop lecturing, but there I just went and did it again. So anyways, I'm hoping to have a finish on this soon so that I can get back to casket stitching. I want to clear this out and have it be officially done. I have done so many hours on this because mostly those leaves took longer than I want to think about. So this piece deserves a finish to go in the box it was designed to go in and to be done, done, done. So hope to be showing you significant progress, if not a finish, next time. And then one other thing to note, as you may have noticed from all the sparkle, which isn't just from the beads, this has a lot of real metal thread. And that brings me to haul. You don't have much haul this time, which is good because I have been making it rain lately and that's enough. But one of the things I bought was the most recent issue of Inspirations. I had actually pre-ordered this from the Attic, but they were out, so just Google. It's Inspirations 123 if you're interested. And I knew I had to have this issue because of who was featured in it. It's one of the embroiderers that I admire most working today. Her name is Hannah Mansfield. She's at The Perpetual Maker on Instagram. I'll put that in the description. And she is an exceptional gold work embroidery artist. This is a close-up of one of her pieces, which won the Hand and Lock Prize in 2019. And she does sculptural gold work flowers. She did a series of 4, one each representing each of the 4 seasons. this was the project which won the Hand and Lock prize. So seasonal flowers rendered in silver and gold metal threads. There are more detailed photos on our Instagram. They are spectacular. It was one of those ideas you look at and you go, oh, I wish I thought of that, because it's genius. It's so brilliant. She's also done some smaller versions on this as teaching projects. She made her sister's wedding bouquet from the same technique. And then in this issue, there's also a small project. Oh, I should have marked this in advance. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm not organized. Buttercups worked as a brooch. It explains the technique. I could guess from the photos of her Instagram, but I admire Hannah enormously. I wanted to support her work, and so I had to have the issue of Inspirations that featured her. She is exceptional and original. She's pushing gold work forward into the modern era. If you are interested in dipping a toe into sparkly waters, but you don't quite feel ready for dimensional goldwork flowers, oh, I kind of am dreaming of a dimensional goldwork garden inside a casket. Wouldn't that be so cool? Be so cool. In fairness, this isn't probably the place to start. It works with pearls, which are not the easiest metal thread in existence. You can also join us for the Elizabethan Valentine. It is up and running, but I am taking registrations even though class has started. This uses silver tambour thread, which is just as sparkly but a lot easier to work with, and it's a good introduction to metal thread embroidery. And then speaking of classes, the last lesson for Queen Anne's pin pillow was also posted September 1st, along with the first lesson of the second running of the Valentine. And to my pin pillow students, I can't wait to see your finishes. I know a lot of you are still working your way through all the background stitching. It's a lot, I know I did it, but I can't wait to see it. Please share them with me as they do come in. And as a final reminder, you've got 3 months to log in and download all of your lessons on Pin Pillow. This will run again at some point, but I need to have enough students to justify production run on the threads. So that's not imminent, but if you'd like to dip a toe into sparkly waters, join us for the Elizabethan Valentine. And then my other piece of haul. So this is something I just saw on Sarah's Stitchy Spot's most recent Flosstube. I was watching her, she showed this, and I was like, oh, fun! Exactly what I need in my life. And this is a mini photo printer by Kodak. It's called the Kodak Step. This just came yesterday, so I still have all the packaging and can show you what it is, yay. And then you feed into it the special photo paper. It's called Kodak Zinc. So you buy these in 50 packs and then you stuff them in your printer, link it to your phone, and then you can print. They're quite small, they're 2x3, so if you want larger ones, you would probably want to go for a different kind of photo printer, but this was perfect for the use I had intended. So a couple episodes ago, I showed you the start of my scrapbook memory book, which just is going to cover some of my stitching adventures. And I had put in some stickers that showed my own pieces, but I also wanted to put in personal photos from some of the events that go with them. So that's Sampler Symposium. Oh, and then these are some of my stickers from summer school. These were in the kits. So this was great because the back of these are just peel and stick. So I was able to include some of my personal photos from summer school as well as kit stickers, some of the stickers I received there, and then you know when things just come along at the exact right time that you're looking for them? So when Sarah showed this, I've been thinking, you know, I want to put photos in my thing, but I don't have a photo printer. now I do, and thanks to the glory of Amazon, it came next day. So that's my haul. But I've had so much haul the last few episodes that I think that's actually quite enough haul. So with that, that's all that you're going to be seeing of me alone, and I am going to bring on my very special guest, who is my mother, Trisha. So we're back with my special guest, my mom, Trisha. Welcome back to the channel, Mom.
Thank you. It's so fun to be here.
So I was hoping that she would tell us a little bit about her experience at summer school.
Well, it was my second summer school, and I think I actually got to enjoy it more this time because I wasn't just so overwhelmed, because first time I kind of was. And first of all, because it was Jean's special birthday, that was really nice too, you know, just meeting her family. She had some of her family there, and just being able to be with her for her birthday, that, because she's such an amazing woman, brings us all together, and that was really fun. And I was telling Katie, the other thing I love about summer school is you come down from your room in the elevator and you walk out into the lobby, and there's everyone stitching. You know, people in small groups of 3 and 4 or bigger groups. And even if you don't know people, I often sat down with people I didn't know and just started talking to them and seeing what they were working on. And it just, that is really, I think the fellowship of summer schools is one of the most amazing parts, and Jean does a really nice job of fostering that.
She does. She really creates the atmosphere of welcoming and hospitality and love of needlework.
Yeah, and welcoming new people who maybe haven't been there before. Well, there were a lot.
Yes, so she said that this was the most first-time summer school attendees of any summer school. It was over 50. I think it was like 55.
I was thinking it was
which would
60.
be over a third of the attendees were there for the first time.
Yeah,
so it was a really great, a lot of people said they thought it was the best summer school yet. I know next year is going to be even better. We're all so excited to put on an amazing event for you, but we're still talking about the last one. So
special.
If you had to pick a single favorite thing from summer school, what was it?
Well, I love this Saturday night show and share.
Yeah.
That is just so cool, because I don't know how many people, where people show what they're working on, you know? I mean, we have these fabulous teachers, but then there are the rest of us. And some of these people produce amazing things.
Oh, absolutely.
So how many do you think, how many people would have participated in show and share?
Oh, well.
There must have been 30?
A few dozen spoke, and then also if you don't want to get up and speak, you can still lay your pieces out on the table, because everybody goes and walks around and looks at what's there, and then afterwards you're invited to come up and speak about your piece if you'd like to, but it's not mandatory. If you just want to leave something out for people to see but you don't want to talk about it, that's cool too.
Yeah,
so
and some people really have fun with it too.
There were some really memorable presentations at Show and Share. And there's such a wide range of pieces. So of course I had the Britomart sampler there so people could see the back as well as the front, but there was also a finished Ibathia that was stitched reversibly.
Oh,
so
stunning work.
You know, there were some really ambitious pieces, and there were smaller pieces, there were pieces stitched on Ada, there was just everything, and the range is part of what makes it so much fun.
Yeah, that is a really special thing.
So, would you like to show us some of your haul?
Oh, yes, okay. Well, I'll start with my threads. So I felt like there was a hole in my thread collection because I didn't have many reds, and some of those are awfully pink too. But it was, if I wanted to stitch something in red, I had like 2 spools of red. I thought, okay, this is where I solved that problem.
This is definitely an example of Jean's influence at work, because her favorite color is red. Red is one of the themes of the attic. Neither of us are actually really very red people in our stitching or color tastes, but look who came home with a
All ready
palette
for
of red
Christmas.
thread. Absolutely.
But I mean, almost everything you stitch probably has a
Oh, yeah.
little bit of red in it.
It does. It's an
Something
important
I
color
need.
to have in stash, even if it's not, like for us, aren't necessarily our favorite color. It's one that you need to have plenty of.
Yeah, and how can you Christmas stitch without red?
Very true.
And then, of course, my beautiful bag. Oh, that I'm holding my swag in with the toile on the opposite side. Isn't this gorgeous? Yeah. And did you show the little
Yes, the
fun piece on the inside? Kind of like just show, really.
happiness is stitching with friends at the Atex Summer School 2024. The swag
So true.
is
And so
A++++
true.
as well as the experience.
Well, and of course, I have to show my fabulous scissors. We are matching scissors. Are these gorgeous or what? And I really like the bigger finger hole.
Yeah,
So
your
the
knuckles
proper
are
term.
larger
Yeah, 'cause
than
my-
mine.
And a little bit swollen with age.
Although I have to say, even though I've got really tiny fingers and these are objectively too big for me, I don't find them difficult to use because the cutting action
They're wonderful scissors.
is so smooth.
I'm really enjoying them.
And they're green, which
And
is our favorite color. So we match. See, we got matching scissors, matching
Yes,
bags.
yes. Okay, and I'm getting out my little mother of pearl needle cube.
So this is made by Jackie Duplessis, and it
Says
says,
the attic on it.
and then you stick your pins or needles in the side. See if that's focusing. Sorry, I'm gonna
It's
put my hand in front of your
oh.
face. So that there we
Oh,
go. So it's got the Atex logo on it. It's fabulous mother of pearl and red because Jean loves red.
Yes, that is gorgeous. And I have a couple charts I came home with. First, Fox and Rabbit, Margaret Lightwood. I thought that was really fun. And since I now have some red, I can actually perhaps do this.
We're Flosstube, you're gonna hold my mom accountable and make sure that she stitches Margaret Lightwood Ligertwood. Ligertwood.
Oh.
It's a Scottish sampler.
Ah, you're right, Lagertwood. I was
Yeah.
calling it Lagerwood.
So what is it that you like specifically about this one?
Well, definitely the floral trim. Well, and I don't know what would you call that?
Well,
But
it's
that
actually
was
kind of
kinda
like a
really-
border. It just doesn't go all the way around.
Yeah, I like
Here, I'm gonna take
that.
the cover photo out. The glare in here is pretty bad today. It's beautiful and sunny here in Northern California. There we go.
I will hide so you can't see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was what attracted it to me. And the trees.
Oh, those are
also-
beautiful trees.
They were unique.
They have a lot of movement to them. They're not static, which can be very hard on a grid, as I found out when designing Lucretia Robinson's needlebook. Trying to get curvature and flow is inherently a problem on a grid, but it's beautifully done on Margaret Ligertwood. Ligertwood.
And I liked the colors too, but I just thought it was a really
Got some
neat one.
nice green grass there. I'm sure you're gonna enjoy green colors.
And then I got Linda Vinson's Needlework Designs for the love of needlery tweed, which I believe means study in French. And here, I don't know if I'm showing or not, but it's a beautiful needle case.
You can see the details on the back. It opens up and then it's got spaces to hold a laying tool. Oh, that's one of Jackie Duplessis' mother of pearl
It's a really nice.
thread winders. I have that exact one actually. And then a pin cushion.
I know, I thought that one was really nice. She's even, got things on the edge. And I just thought it was beautifully done. And there's a finished one in the attic that you can admire.
Yes.
That one's got to go in the queue.
And Linda herself is just such a lovely and charming person. I
She
just
is.
adore her.
Yeah. also one of the instructors.
Indeed.
So that was my haul.
Well, you were more restrained than I was. I was not very restrained.
I also don't get as much done as she does. So
You know, I
that's a lot of
do
it.
use a lot of my stash. It doesn't just sit around. Although, honestly, if you just enjoy having it and petting
Yeah.
it, what is wrong with that?
And looking
Nothing.
at it, absolutely nothing.
So, is there anything else you want to tell us about summer school?
I think that was pretty much it. The instructors were great.
Yeah, I actually kind of thought you were going to say your favorite part was your daughter, but
Well, it was. But I don't want to say that. Because they were all fantastic.
they were. It was wonderful, and I'm really looking forward to next year's summer school. I'm sure you are as well. And
absolutely. It gets better every time.
it does. Well, one thing about the attic is that it is a lot of overstimulation, especially the first time, because like the shop is just choked
like a
with
museum.
models. They're everywhere. They're on the walls. They're in display cases. Everywhere you look, there's something new, and that's
Something
just
amazing.
the models and not all the wonderful things there are to buy. So I feel like every time I go there, I'm seeing new things that I think were probably there. I just didn't take them in before.
For sure. Because it's impossible to take it all in.
Yeah, so in that
True.
sense, it gets more rewarding with each experience. And then also you get to know more people as you return to events, and not every single person there is new to you, and you make new friends.
And you get inspired by seeing some of the things other people are doing.
Oh, absolutely. So, speaking of stitching, I think you were going to show us your whip, and then
this is my
from 2023.
last year's summer school. So as I showed some of you this during summer school. I've been working on this now for a year. Maybe it feels like a year.
No.
So Katie, I'm making a table runner. Katie gave me this piece of linen, and it's the perfect fit for my living room table. So it started out to be Anne Watson's 1801.
Wilson.
Wilson?
Yeah, Wilson.
Oh yeah, Wilson. But then I realized as I went on more and more that this was going to be a family piece. So it's, first of all, to celebrate my husband and I's 50th wedding anniversary last year. So that was what these dates are. And then I added in Katie's initial and her brother's over here. And I'm gonna end it out with almost like a little family tree kind of thing with my parents' initials and Mike's parents' initials.
Yeah, so here we've got my mom's initials and my dad's initials, our two lovebirds in their medallion, their children, and then the grandparents will go here, and then you were gonna sign your name here.
Yeah, I
as
think
well.
I'm gonna put my name up here.
And the quote is, "It's not how long you've been together, it's how much you love each other every day."
Isn't that nice?
It is.
Perfect. It took me forever to do, but
So that is stitched over one, and if my mom can do over one, you can do over one, guys. So you used surfing for this.
Take it out about 3 times,
Oh,
but
we've all been
finally
there.
got there.
And so the story behind this piece of linen, and this is 37 count Russian tea cake, and I had cut this for the Britomart sampler. This was what I was going to stitch it on. Then I switched to Piccadilly, as many of you know, and I was left with this long, narrow strip of linen thinking, oh man, what did I do that for? And then my mom starts telling me about her idea for a table runner. I pulled this out and said, I've got the thing for you.
And I love these Quaker medallions.
They're fabulous.
You know, they were just like the nice edge.
Oh, and so this is an original silk conversion that my mom did with a little input from me. I'll put it in the conversion.
Helped pick here's the colors. Katie helped pick the colors. Katie picked the colors. She did.
No, I gave you suggestions, and then you picked what you liked out of it. This is
she
in her
certainly gave me
Lou
help
and
with it.
Sue folio. I'll list these in the conversion, and so this wouldn't get you through all of Ann Wilson, but it is a pretty substantial range of threads for the pattern. And so this is the silk conversion, which you can find in the description. And it's really, the format was a great way to just pick out the motifs you liked and
make them my own.
make them your own. And then also, you know, you ended up organizing them around a theme.
Yep.
And on a technical note, for those of you who might be interested in doing the same, she based it in lines to allow her to line everything up.
Well, because it's going to be, it'll have to be, after it's blocked, it'll have to be probably put some sort of interfacing, I would think, on it. And then I'm going to find a nice fabric and turn and stitch it, so it'll just be the stitching line will be right along the edge of the medallions.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
And-
hoping it will be someday.
It's almost done. It's almost done. And she has not been working on this for a year. She started it in January. So,
Okay, almost a year.
no.
Yeah, someday we'll finish.
I also remember you did a lot of Christmas stitching for other people
True.
during that time.
True.
She's very modest about her own talents. So, what are you planning next once you finish your table runner?
I want to do either this fox and rabbit, the Scottish one, or the one from that they showed in their session
Yeah,
at summer school.
so their kit included the full kit for the sampler as well as the small. So
Yeah, I like them both. I think that's going to be my next project.
we'll have to have you back on once you have a start
Once
on
it's-
that and a
once it's
finish on your
underway.
table runner. So
Absolutely.
check the conversion for the silks on Ann Wilson 1801. And with that, I think we're going to move to giveaway winners from the previous episode. So there were 3 to celebrate 8,000 subscribers here on Flosstube. The first was the Modern Folk Embroidery DCVH Red House Sampler Chart. The keyword for this was house. And the winner is Mary Tomasi 3132. For all of today's winners, I have commented on your comment. Please contact me with your mailing address so I can get these out to you. The second one, keyword unicorn, was the Scarlet Letter Chart, a peacock, a unicorn, a badger.
That is so beautiful.
Isn't that gorgeous? We talked about the Met piece that inspired this one last episode, if you haven't seen it. And that was also my recap of my summer school experiences, if you didn't see the last episode. And the winner of the unicorn chart is Lori Bowen 5160. Congratulations. And then our last and easily most popular giveaway was the
beautiful
48
ribbon.
count legacy linen bride cake. And the winner of the linen keyword cake. I've got to stop using cake as a keyword for linen because I get all these comments that say cake. And I'm just like, oh, I really want to eat cake. But not like a slice, an
That
entire
one is
big cake.
beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the winner is Lori Welker 4170. Congratulations to all the winners. However, if you didn't win, I have a new giveaway today, but we're going to do things a little differently. Normally, I ask you to use a keyword in your comment, and then I use the random comment picker to select a winner. This time, I'm going to give you a prompt, you will respond, and then I am going to pick a winner as an encouragement to deliver a very thoughtful and reasoned response. So as I was stitching on Flag Thief, which is a patriotic chart by Plum Street, that's mom certification. Oh, no, I took that out. Sorry. I was thinking about why it is patriotic stitching calls to us. So to enter the giveaway, think of your favorite patriotic chart and whether that's one you've already stitched or one you hope to stitch. It doesn't really matter whether or not you've done it or, you know, just something that you want to stitch. What does that piece mean to you? What makes you want to stitch that particular patriotic piece, and what emotional response does it provoke in you? So answer the questions and think about what it is patriotic stitching means to you. Yes, I am getting at something with this, but that will be revealed in the future. And as an inducement to do so, I have a fabulous palette of amazingly patriotic but versatile red thread. These are 4 shaded colors of goblins, which can be used for just about every project. As my mom correctly noted, red figures in just about everything you stitch sooner or later. So really useful to have. And so to enter today's giveaway, tell me about patriotic stitching, why you do it, and what it means to you. As a reminder, I also asked 2 other questions in this episode if you'd like to weigh in on those, and they're unrelated to the giveaway, so you don't have to answer them. First, to stripe or not to stripe on Flag Thief? And second, what do you think about a release for Thomas the Turkey? Late September or early October? I know a lot of you are already fall stitching, even though I'm still stuck in summer mode. And then for next time, we are going to have a full range whip parade, not just cross stitch, but embroidery and beading. Everything that's sitting around in my closet waiting to be touched will be shown.
Ooh, fun.
I hope to have some progress on my ongoing projects to show you. We'll be closing out Sampler September with my progress on Fox and Rabbit, Elizabeth Campbell, 1838. And then I hope I am actually going to finally hem stitch the Britta Mart sampler to show you an FFO on what was my biggest project this year. The perfect way to close out Sampler September with what was for me the ultimate sampler. So I'll see you again in 2 weeks. Special thanks to my mom for coming on the channel and appearing. And until then, happy stitching.
Happy stitching. Bye, everyone.